How many of us have met before? Really? Okay, good to be here. Having fun? Nice. Excited? Okay. So we will try to keep this as interactive as possible, so please participate. And there may be certain things that we may have already spoken about, but let's try to brush up on some of these skills. And कोशिश करेंगे कि whatever queries that you have, we will keep it at the back end of the session, and we will try to address them as much as possible in the next 30 to 45 minutes. I hope most of you already know, my name is Akash. I have Mr. Deepak with me here, and we will help you build some strategic inputs around how to go through with your interview sessions. Yeah? But before we start, how many of us here feel that we are brave? Brave. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 5, 10, 8. Okay, for all the brave ones out here, I would ask you to volunteer with your CVs, maybe 3 of you, and कोशिश करेंगे कि हम एक इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट कर पाएँ, so that every one of us can learn. CVs. देखो मेरे को हाथ में दे दो. ऐश्वर्या, सिद्धार्थ, नो प्रॉब्लम. 1. इतनी बड़ी सीवी है
ये जो बुलजाई.
चलो.
Shall I give this SOP also or
only the CV. Any one more CV or SOP?
Please, one more CV, please.
Thank you, sir. बस ये we'll run through them. So, how many of us here have had some experience with some form of interview? Mock interviews हुए हैं, किसी कॉलेज, कोई इंटर्नशिप, कोई लाइव प्रोजेक्ट. Okay, 50-50. And for the ones who have not appeared in an interview, क्या कोई बताना चाहेगा what are your fears, what is holding you back, any problems that you are facing right now? Anyone? नहीं? विश्वास?
And framing the answers.
Communication skills and framing the answers. Okay. Anyone else? Technical jargons related to graduation. Okay. Very specific. Anyone else? Confidence. Okay. What else? Anything else? Fluency. Okay. We will try to address some of this, but we will try to keep the session mostly around strategy. How do you approach the interview? Okay. So anybody who wants to hazard a guess कि ये interviews इतना बड़ा हुआ क्यों है, ये interviews हमेशा end में क्यों रखे जाते हैं, and why is interview usually a make or break for us? कोई guess करना चाहेगा?
Because they dive deep into the personality of the person to judge how he will act.
Super. What's your name?
Ritish.
Ritish. Great, Ritish. Anyone else besides Ritish?
So, via the interview, we want to judge and gather the specific type of people that we feel would be best fit, not only for the college, but as a peer group that they can contribute to each other's success in their.
Super. Very nuanced. Thank you so much. Anyone? Any last guess? Anyone? Yes, Inder.
Because by the time of the interview, more or less everyone has cleared that basic criteria needed. So now it's all about personality and who we can choose.
Superb. Thank you so much, Inder. Great answer. Hey, Saditesh.
So probably the candidate's conviction towards his visions and goals.
Superb. I see there's like the average skill level has already risen, so that's great to know. Usually interviews are kept at the very end, and not just for MBA placements, but also for your lateral placement, job hirings, because the amount of effort that not only a student has to give, but a panelist has to give, especially for one-on-one interactions, is the highest. अगर ग्रुप डिस्कशन हो रहा है तो मे बी आई कैन कलेक्ट 10 to 12 ऑफ यू इन वन गो, और 1 घंटे के अंदर मैं सारे स्किल्स जज कर सकता हूँ, दैट आई कैन जज फ्रॉम अ ग्रुप डिस्कशन. बट इंटरव्यूज के अंदर मेरे को आपके साथ 15-20 मिनट 1-to-1 करने हैं, तो 1 घंटे के अंदर एट मैक्स 3 या 4 कैंडिडेट्स. एंड इंटरव्यू से पहले के सारे राउंड्स आर स्किल असेसमेंट, वेयर दे वांट टू रिजेक्ट यू इफ यू डोंट क्लियर द बार. अगर आप 7 out of 10 इन अ सर्टेन स्किल नहीं है, you will not usually go ahead for the interview round. But आपकी all the assessments once they have been carried out up till the interview round, उसके बाद से it's not a matter of rejection, it's a matter of selection. You already have most of the skills. You already have proven yourself that you are good enough to be there. But of course, जनसंख्या बहुत है भारत के अंदर, everybody can get in and we have limited seats. So there are only so many people that they can take, and this gives them the liberty to choose the best of the best. So today, over the next 40 minutes, before we have one of the 3 brave people who have put forward their CV, we will try to assess some strategic ways of trying to influence how an interview goes. Okay? So first up, your interview does not start when the first question is asked. Your interview starts the moment you walk into the room. Okay? And it's not something that वो जानबूझ के ऐसा करते हैं कि वो वहीं से आपको जज करना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. Whether we like it or not, it's happening at a subconscious level. And जानबूझ के नहीं किया जाता, ये अपने आप होता है. So even when me and Mr. Deepak we were walking in, you were taking note. कौन आगे है, कौन पीछे है, कौन इस तरह चल रहा है, कौन इस तरह चल रहा है. It happens on a subconscious level. So during the day of your interview and also during your mock interviews right now, make sure that your body posture is straight. अभी भी the ones who don't want to really speak up वो इस तरह छुप के बैठे होंगे. Try to notice the ones who are sitting on your left and right, and the ones who really want to take part, who want to participate, थोड़े चौड़े होके बैठते हैं. Why? Because subconsciously you look at any of the mammals, if they are feeling stronger, if they are feeling more confident, they tend to make themselves bigger. शेर दहाड़ता क्यों है, म्याऊ 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 क्यों नहीं करता? For the same reasons. It wants to make itself bigger, the mane to make itself bigger. So psychologically speaking, if you are in a good mood, you will make yourself bigger. But if you make yourself bigger, you will also get into a good mood. It happens both ways. Making sense? Irrespective of how the interview goes, but when the interview begins, make sure that you have a big, wide smile on your face. Anybody wants to hazard a guess? Why is this important?
Sets the good mood.
Great. पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड. हाँ, बट इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि ये बुकिश आंसर्स क्या हैं. इट्स अबाउट जो वाइब होती है ना यार, रूम की, इंटरव्यू की, आने वाले आधे घंटे की. यू सेट द टोन देयर. ऑल्सो अ वाइड स्माइल हेल्प्स यू बिल्ड रेपो विद द अदर पर्सन. इमेजिन दूसरे एक्सट्रीम पे जाए, अगर आंखों से आंसू टपकने वाले हैं, आई एम इन अ वेरी फाउल मूड, और डर के कारण आई एम सो नर्वस. The first question will be, why are you feeling so nervous? Versus, why are you smiling so much? I'll be like, sir, I'm so excited to be here, or I'm very nervous to be here. I've worked very hard, and finally to see this happen in this prestigious institute, sitting face to face someone so reputed as a faculty, it's a dream that has already come half true. So you're like, okay. So now, if I say something like this, if I'm already trying to manifest कि मेरा सपना आधा पूरा हो चुका है, I am already subconsciously trying to place in the panelist head कि अब जो आधा सपना रह गया ये आपने भी पूरा करना है. ये सपना अब सिर्फ मेरा नहीं है, ये सपना अब हमारा है. So subconsciously मैंने क्या किया है, I have tried to set the tone for the discussion to happen in a constructive manner. I will try to make sure कि even if we diverge on our points of view, वो आपसे कुछ पूछ रहे हैं और आप शायद आंसर नहीं कर पा रहे, उनका कुछ व्यू पॉइंट है, आपका शायद कुछ और व्यू पॉइंट है, it may happen, बट स्टार्टिंग के अंदर यू हैव ब्रॉट हिम ऑन टू योर साइड. एम आई मेकिंग सेंस? थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आ रहा है? फर्स्ट अप, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स आपसे आपका पहला क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा जाएगा? टेल मी अबाउट योर सेल्फ. TMAY. एंड आई गेस हम सबको पता है दैट वी हैव अ प्रिपेयर्ड इंट्रोडक्शन एंड वी ट्राई टू कीप इट एट अराउंड 45-50 seconds, मैक्सिमम 1 minute. सो एनी क्यूज, सोचना कैसे है अपनी इंट्रोडक्शन के बारे में? एक तो है कि आपको पता है कि आपने क्या बोलना है. हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस हैव ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड आवर इंट्रोडक्शन? फॉर द वंस हु हैवंट, प्लीज वर्क ऑन दिस. पहले अपने आप खुद बनाइएगा अपनी इंट्रोडक्शन, बट फॉर द वंस हु हैव ऑलरेडी मेड देयर इंट्रोडक्शन, आई वॉन्ट यू टू थिंक 1 layer डीपर. नॉट कि आपने क्या बोलना है, बट आप क्या चाहते हैं कि दूसरे वाला जब वो सुने तो उसके दिमाग में आपकी क्या इमेज बने. स्लाइटली एडवांस्ड वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट एन इंट्रोडक्शन, बट दिस इज हाउ इट एक्चुअली वर्क्स. So, if I were to say, sir, my name is Akashdeep Goyal, I'm an aerospace engineer from PEC, I'm pursuing my MBA from IIFT Delhi, and right now I'm working in the corporate world for 5-7 years. मज़ा नहीं आया. मैंने अपने बारे में वही इंट्रोडक्शन दी जो मैंने प्रिपेयर करी है, बट what is the end goal that I want to chase from this introduction? What I want you all to focus on is not कि आपने क्या बोलना है, but आप अपनी इमेज उसके दिमाग में क्या बनाना चाहते हैं. So how could you do this? The sole purpose of your introduction is to gather conversational points. Something that makes them want to speak with you on a topic of your choice. So say for example, citing a personal experience, मेरा फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू था व्हेन आई वाज सिटिंग फॉर माय प्लेसमेंट्स ड्यूरिंग माय अंडरग्रेड. मैं पेक से इंजीनियरिंग करी थी लॉन्ग टाइम बैक, एंड मेरा जो रिक्रूटर था, हिज नेम वाज मोनोतोष दास. मोनोतोष कोई गैस करना चाहता है वो कौन सी स्टेट से होएगा? ओके, मैंने भी यही तुक्का मारा. मेरा एक फुटबॉलिंग बैकग्राउंड है. आई हैव प्लेड नेशनल्स अंडर 16 जब बैक इन द डे, एंड मेरे को था यार अगर इसका नाम मोनोतोष दास है तो शायद ये बंगाल से होगा. हम सब ने सोचा, और अगर ये बंगाली है तो ही विल हैव सम व्यूज ऑन फुटबॉल. या तो वो अर्जेंटीना को सपोर्ट करता होगा या वो ब्राजील को सपोर्ट करता होगा, बट इन हिज सर्कल्स ही वुड हैव हर्ड इनफ अबाउट फुटबॉल. वॉजंट श्योर. सो मैंने क्या किया, अपनी इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर बोला, सर XYZ, माई नेम इज दिस, मैं ये हूं, मैं वो हूं. एंड ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू आई स्ट्रेस्ड ऑन, सर आई एम ऑल्सो अ नेशनल लेवल फुटबॉल प्लेयर. एंड वाइल ही वॉज लुकिंग लाइक दिस एंड ही वॉज गोइंग थ्रू माई CV एंड आई एम लाइक, आई एम अ नेशनल लेवल फुटबॉल प्लेयर. इज लाइक आंखें एकदम ऊपर, एंड आई एम लाइक आई गॉट यू. सो इससे हुआ क्या, I fed him something that he would have been interested in to talk about. मेरा इंटरव्यू 15 मिनट चला, जिसमें से हमने 14 मिनट सिर्फ फुटबॉल की बातें करी. और उससे हुआ क्या, इट हैड नथिंग टू डू विद हाउ गुड ऑफ एन इंजीनियर आई वुड बी, मेरी जॉब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज क्या होंगी, मैं अच्छा कैंडिडेट हूंगा या नहीं, मैं अपना काम, नो, नन ऑफ इट. इट वॉज नॉट अबाउट हायरिंग फॉर अ गुड प्रोफाइल, it was about hiring a good personality. Recruiters, people, managers, they don't look for profiles, they always look for personalities. Because if they don't like your personality, they don't like you as a person, then there is no way in hell they will select you for the position that you are applying for. Does that make sense? So, if my end goal is to strike something that is conversational, how and why should I do it? Because all of us also, when we were growing up, we have heard stories from our parents, our grandparents. और जब हम कहानी सुनते हैं ना, जब भी हम कोई कहानी सुनते हैं, We want to feel invested into it. And these stories help you build conversations. Conversations help you build connections. And if you can foster and nurture that connection, your chances will go very high for a conversion. Make sense? So, for the ones who have actually prepared their introduction, think about what all things you want to talk about in your introduction so that there is likelihood जो सामने वाला पैनलिस्ट है वो उसमें से कुछ पिकअप करके समथिंग दैट दे ऑल्सो फाइंड इंटरेस्टिंग वो उस बारे में बात कर सके. हाउ विल आई डू इट? I would love for you to talk about maybe 5 to 6 things of your profile, of your personality. अगर आपको मैं already if I am referring to Inder, I'm saying hi Inder, how are you? Please come and sit for your interview. अगर इंदर मेरे को स्टार्टिंग में अपनी इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर दोबारा बोलेगा माई नेम इज इंदर, it's not adding any value, right? I can't get into a conversation about his word or his name Inder. And usually my attention is very high at the starting of my introduction and at the end of the introduction. So start with a bang. Start with something that is unique to you. जिस तरह मेरे लिए यूनिक था, सर आई एम अ नेशनल लेवल फुटबॉलर. I would want to capture his attention and I want to end my introduction on a high because that will be the most recent piece of information that he will hear. And अगर वो उसके ऊपर कनेक्ट कर पाता है, अगर उसको इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है, he will want to talk about it. जो बीच वाला पार्ट होएगा शायद it will not register in one's mind. Something interesting again it will, but likelihood all things keeping constant it will not register. So start with something that is unique to you, not your name, not your college, not your degree. ये सबके पास कुछ कुछ होएगा बट वो यूनिक नहीं होएगा. बट समथिंग दैट इज यूनिक टू यू. इट कुड बी योर वैल्यू सिस्टम, इट कुड बी योर वर्क एथिक, इट कुड बी योर रोल मॉडल, इट कुड बी योर इंस्पिरेशन, इट कुड बी सम अचीवमेंट, बट समथिंग दैट इज यूनिक टू यू. ओके, एंड एंड इट ऑन अ हाई सो दैट यू नो कि हाँ दिस इज समथिंग आई वॉन्ट यू टू टॉक अबाउट. जब मैंने अभी आपको अपना अंडरग्रेड का ये एग्जाम्पल दिया, आई डिड नॉट टेल हिम कि मैंने इस साल में खेला था और मैं उस टीम के लिए खेला था और वो स्कोर लाइन था और मेरे ये टीममेट्स थे. नो, what I did was I just mentioned that I'm a national level football player. Thank God he picked it up. I could pique his interest. But this is something what I called as a breadcrumb strategy. What do I call it? मैं सिर्फ एक छोटा सा टुकड़ा उसके सामने रख दूंगा. अगर उसको ठीक लगा he will pick it up and he will like, oh, so you're a national level footballer. So for what state did you play? Which tournament did you participate in? He might think कि वो questions पूछ रहा है because he is leading the interview. But what he might not realize is that national level footballer has been strategically planted there. And then I will know everything there is to know. He might think that he is the one calling the shots. But actually you are the one calling the shots. Does that make sense? Finally, आपको इंटरव्यू के एंड पे भी हमेशा एक ना एक मौका मिलता है कि दिव्यम, यू आर दिव्यम, वुड यू लाइक टू आस्क मी समथिंग बिफोर वी कंक्लूड द इंटरव्यू? सिद्धार्थ, इज देयर एनीथिंग यू वुड लाइक टू आस्क मी? मोस्टली पूछा जाता है ना. इंट्रोडक्शन आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं सो दैट यू कैन सॉर्ट ऑफ ड्राइव द इंटरव्यू एंड वी कैन पिक अप टॉपिक्स दैट यू आर कंफर्टेबल इन. एंड में भी आपको एक मौका दिया जाता है. इट्स अ फ्री रनवे. आपने जो पूछना है, जो बोलना है, जो शेयर करना है आप कर सकते हैं. बट माई एडवाइस, माई पर्सनल एडवाइस इज दैट यू आस्क समथिंग, बिकॉज दे आर आस्किंग यू टू आस्क समथिंग, दैट यू आस्क समथिंग दैट मेक्स देम वांट टू टॉक अबाउट देमसेल्फ. People absolutely love talking about themselves. Absolutely love talking about themselves. Instagram वैसे ही फेमस नहीं हुआ. हम सारे hooked on Instagram वैसे ही नहीं है. This is not by default. This is by design. Why? Because we as people love talking about ourselves. So think of something that you can ask the panelist. So say I am the panelist and I have been around for 10 years. I will be like, Sir, I really appreciate people who stay committed to their vision. I see that you've been here for 10 years. What has been the most satisfying part of your day-to-day job? आपने क्या किया? आपने एक बैक-हैंडेड कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया उन्हें. That I really appreciate people who are loyal. कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया, उसको अच्छा ही लगेगा. There is no downside to it. या है कोई डाउनसाइड अगर मैंने उसको कोई कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया? एंड उसके बाद इररिस्पेक्टिव कि वो क्या आंसर आता है, यू जस्ट हैव टू नॉड. सुनना भी नहीं है, यहां से सुनना और चाहे यहां से निकाल देना, डज नॉट मैटर. बट वॉट दे विल रिमेंबर इज कि हाँ यार सिद्धार्थ आया था, इंदर आया था, ही कॉम्प्लीमेंटेड मी दैट आई हैव बीन अराउंड फॉर सो लॉन्ग. He will not remember how good a profile or how good a candidate you are, but he is likely to remember this guy complimented me. Imagine their state of mind. They have been doing this for years and years and years together. दिन के ऑलरेडी 10 इंटरव्यूज ले चुके हैं, आगे 10 इंटरव्यूज और लेने हैं. हाउ विल योर इंटरव्यू स्टैंड आउट इन हिज हेड? नोबडी विल टीच अस दीज थिंग्स. चांसेस आर स्टार्टिंग में ये करना बहुत मुश्किल भी लगेगा, थोड़ी शर्म भी आएगी. बट वंस यू डू दिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, it will become slightly easier when you have to do it for the second time. Make sense? So every single one of you will have an opportunity to go through a mock interview today. कोशिश कर लेना यार, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होएगा, नहीं बोल पाएंगे. We have nothing more to lose. So to sum this up at my end, you know what you have to say, but try to focus on why are you saying it. It's not because you have to say it, it's because the other person also has to hear it. Okay? This was my time with you. I'm going to request Mr. Deepak now to come in and he will carry on with the strategic parts of this interview. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. So, okay, hi everyone. I'm Deepak. So, couple of takeaways which I'll also talk about after a little introduction about myself. So, been associated with Hitbullseye for around 20 years. You would have seen me in BBKP sessions at times. However, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm based out of Gurgaon. And, I'm an entrepreneur now, but 4 years back, I was obviously heading a particular bank. And I had 400 people reporting to me. And that's where I'll share my experiences also. That, how is this group lacking from people which I used to select? Because selecting 400 people and then, attrition rates, everyone moves for their salary increases is also very, very challenging. So I like to bring in those insights as well. But most welcome, please ask me questions. I see a one-way communication happening, which should not be the case. Okay, very frankly, and I'll be critical right now because I want this group to improve. So someone says personality. Sir, आपने कहा था ना personality देखते हैं interview में. Yes. What is this personality? Is this personality this that all of you sitting in this group don't even know each other? Right? What is, tell me something about yourself. That when you have a tea break after this session, please know about the other person. You'll also get to know. So what I'm saying is, hang on, I just moved a little faster, but I'll take a very simple example. All of you go out, right? Let's take two of us are standing outside. Should we approach you and ask you, tell me something about yourself? Or do you have that introduction? Now, which question am I answering? Some people did not raise their hands when he asked that have you written your introduction? If two people are standing outside today and you have to tell something about yourself, what are you going to tell about yourself? Yes. Personality is that when I'm sitting in this group, I'm not waiting for a one-way communication that some God will come and throw light on us and we'll be enlightened forever for our life. Third thing, this is just the starting point. I'll make it very clear. This is just the starting point. What do I mean by the starting point? When we asked for CVs, 2 people came in quickly, the third came in reluctantly, the others did not come at all. But if this is the starting point, boss, अभी तो life बहुत पड़ी है, अभी तो IIM की सिर्फ call आई है. I'll be frank. Yes. अगर उसमें भी डर गए resume देने में कि आज I'm available but please tell me today what do I lack so that I can go and improve. वो approach ही नहीं थी. अब वो क्यों नहीं थी? You yourselves know the best. Right? Do I make sense? And let it not be one-way communication. Please ask the why for it. When someone says, again I'm getting back to this, when someone says personality, I go out, and when he says, you know, you should be talking about 5 major things when you introduce yourself. What is that? So let's take you are the 4th or the 5th person who's coming to meet us, or let's say you're meeting within yourself as well, not only the panel. What are those things that you talk about and the breadcrumbs that you leave, as he said, that you leave that makes an impression and the person wants to get into a conversation with you, right? So even as of now for this session, you know, you can maybe hijack the complete conversation towards how do I get the best for myself? Yes or no? But how many of you are trying? No one. Right? Maybe some people came, took the front seat, said, you know, we'll try to grasp as much as we want to. We'll try to grasp. But do I have the ability to hijack it for what I want? Golden chance. You got an IIM call. I had a student I was teaching in Delhi, and teaching is my passion. So even when I was working with a corporate, I was always teaching. I had a student, NSIT, right? If I remember rightly, 2015, 2016. Got an IIM call. Next year did not even get an IIM call. Okay, so as important as that, right? So now that you've got an opportunity, please make the best for it, best out of it. Okay, now, so I've explained in my own way. If you want me to further tell you about why know 5 things about yourself. Another thing is, and I see, do you have a resume session, by the way? Resume writing session right now? No. Then I'll point out some of the things. Please don't take it personally, but if I don't tell you right now, I come from a middle class family. Right? Someone's written. How does that add value? How does that add value? Please raise your hand and tell me. And there was something else written from by someone else, but how does that add value? Only middle class people go to IIM's, boss. No Tata Birla will go. Right? They have enough to handle, they'll handle it without it. Okay, let's be very frank. And if you please ask questions if you feel that it does not make sense. I'll tell you 100 examples if you're not convinced with one example of what I'm talking about. So please write what you feel they will read. Acha. And I'll repeat this and give an example as well, maybe you'll understand. So you meet someone outside your friend, hi, I belong to a middle class family. How did that add value? It did not add value. Hi, maybe, you know, if you had but in a simple way, I'll not talk negative much, but write something or speak something which adds value. Okay, it could be from your extracurricular activities, it could be from your hobby, it could be from your curriculum, but whatever adds value. And this person has a fantastic percentage in graduation in high school. So kudos to that person. There's something good as well, but that's what. Any questions so far? Otherwise, another 5 minutes I'll take, and before we start with the interview, another 5 minutes. Any questions? Please ask. देखो इतना बड़ा ज्ञान दिया, गला फाड़ दिया. हाँ जी बच्चे बोलो. That's okay. Teaching at this stage is like very random because like I initially prepared for engineering. Yes. In high school. Then I did a semester of engineering. Then I was like, I was good at it. I cleared the semester, but I didn't like want to continue further. So I took a break. I prepared for IIM and CLAT, both the exams. Okay. Then I cleared the interview. I cleared the test for IIM, but I couldn't clear the interview round. So I went for a law degree. And now, like around 9 months later, like while working as a lawyer, I ended up giving the XAT just for like, let's see how it goes. And I ended up like getting a score which would sort of give me a call. Right. So, like, how do I explain like this like shift of interest? Like, would the interviews catch on to that? Like, maybe you will not be wanting to do an interview,
even though it was my original plan because I was preparing for IIM engineering.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so first of all, let's understand, let's not be critical about ourselves, okay? In the only negative about the whole preparation is that हम अपने loopholes देखना शुरू कर देते हैं और ये बोलते हैं यार मैं यहाँ फंस ना जाऊँ, है ना? पहली बात ऐसे नहीं होती. Did you ever make friends because they changed their streams? No, right? Did you ever choose anyone because, did you ever stop anyone or did not choose anyone because they changed their streams? No. So that does not hold it. Also, let's link two things. I think interconnections are missing. When someone says what are your 10-year goals, right? So I was asked this question as well in my interview. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What's your 10-year goal? What's your 5-year goal? Do you think it would be a hindrance or it would be a beneficial thing that you switch streams and got some extra knowledge? Exactly. When I see today, when I'm an entrepreneur, because I had interactions with, I started my science, I had a background of science, did my economics honors, did post-graduation economics, did MBA, did CFA. I at that time was just studying, I did not realize it, okay? But MBA marketing and then CFA, I would have said, I pagal ho gaya kya? Paise kharch raha hai. ठीक है, but you don't know because you're too young for it. 10 years from now, you will love it that you had that background. Trust me. And this is the confidence which you enter with as well. So this is not something that will hold you back. This will rather support you. And I'm being very clear about it. That's where your 10-year goal, right, will make you understand. You're still not clear about your 10-year goal, are you?
I am.
You are. Very good. Yeah, please ask.
I tell you why I am serious because IIM the first time I gave was fresh out of high school. So that time I just had a lower score in the entrance exam. Second time I had a high score. However, I was already pursuing engineering and I had taken a break. So that obviously I had to explain. And they like caught on that you are doing engineering from such a good college. Why are you leaving? And I prepared a defense, but.
Sir, I just have one chance. I just had one chance in life to do what I really wanted to do, to try and do what I really wanted to do, and that is what I never wanted to miss in life. Yes? Say it out of your heart. He will accept it. That this boy knows what he's doing. Right? Just had one chance, sir, and I really wanted to try it. Uske baad hua nahi hua, you can actually form an answer for it. But when you speak from the heart, he will never reject you. He will say, hang on. You know, he has something. Do I make sense? Yes. There were more hands which went up for questions. Another 5 minutes, please. So, yeah, please.
I would like to follow on a 10-year plan.
Yes.
So, like, I have a desire to start a startup, like you're an
Yes.
but not sure about the product. So, if I just say it out that I want to do a startup, the very next question would be what product, how will you do it? But currently we don't have an answer. So
Okay, yes.
we try to put that into the conversation while it's in.
So remember one thing. First, I'll give my example, but I'm really a small part of the ecosystem. But did I actually think what I'm doing, that I'll have an office in Dubai, I'll have an office in India, I'll be between two places, you know, and recruiting people there, recruiting people here. Would I be doing that? No, I did not know it even an year before I had a startup. Okay. So does it happen with people who are entrepreneurs? Yes, it does. Jeff Bezos, Amazon was never a company which it is today. It was an online bookstore. Yes. Then he realized there's something more to be achieved. Third, so two examples, though I'm a very small part of the ecosystem, but Jeff Bezos, at least his example makes a lot of sense. Did Microsoft know where it is going to be? No one knew, okay, or what it is exactly going to do. Even Microsoft failed because it did not transition to mobile phones, right? From laptops and desktop, it could not transition to mobile phones and hence could not develop the software. But it had its own growth path. So now what I'll summarize the three examples that I've given. You're too young to know what you will be doing 10 years from now. Okay, if it was as simple as this, and this professor knows it, okay? So am I still in touch with the faculty of my B school? Yes, I'm still in touch, right? You expect that you should know exactly, but they don't expect that you should know exactly. Because in 10 years, यहाँ पे 10 साल पहले आए थे, कहाँ पे थे? You based out of Chandigarh? तो चंडीगढ़ 10 साल पहले जो था आज वो है, right? So they don't expect it. You are expecting too much out of yourself. But however, obviously there's an answer to be given. And it could be as simple as that. A 10-year goal can be a little hazy, and could be that I want to have my own startup. And also, I'll add some value to it, because in 10 years you would have earned so much, right? That आज जो लगता है ना कि मुझे MBA करनी है गाड़ी के लिए, घर के लिए, right? दिशा पठानी के लिए, वो सब हट जाता है, ठीक है? So everyone was getting bored, so I added that example. Please excuse me. Okay. So वो सब हट जाता है, 10 साल में सब अचीव हो जाता है. उसके बाद आपका ये होता है, यार मैं मीनिंगफुल क्या कर रहा हूँ लाइफ में, और वो मीनिंग आता है. आज मैं अपनी कंपनी का लॉयर भी हूँ, ठीक है? आई वॉज इन द कोर्ट येस्टरडे, डे बिफोर येस्टरडे. अकाउंटेंट भी हूँ, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट भी हूँ, HR हेड भी हूँ. करना तो बहुत सब कुछ खुद पड़ता है, एम्प्लॉय पे नहीं छोड़ सकते आप, है ना? एक गलत एम्प्लॉयमेंट हुई, एक गलत कंट्रैक्ट साइन हुआ विद एन HNI, खत्म हो जाएगा. सो वी इनटू इन्वेस्टमेंट्स बाय द वे. सो एक गलत या फिर नॉन डिस्क्लोजर एग्रीमेंट्स होते हैं हमारे. सो हमारा नॉन डिस्क्लोजर एग्रीमेंट साइन हुआ. आई मीन, बट डिड आई एम गिविंग एन एग्जांपल बिकॉज आई डिड नॉट टॉक अबाउट लॉ एट ऑल. So you know, Tatas are setting up iPhones. There'll be someone who will supply chips. For those chips, someone will supply silicon. Yes or no? हमारा NDA साइन हुआ, वो कौन सी कंपनी है? NDA is non-disclosure agreement. Okay, they will be massively into it, and same happened for the people who are building bullet train in India. Can I solely rely on the lawyer? No. I have to be a part of it. I have to have the knowledge and the understanding to be a part of. But did I think 10 years back? No, I did not. Okay, so I hope I've answered your question with examples, gives you a clarity. Any other question? One last question. Rest everyone says that ज्ञान मिलेगा, सब clear हो जाएगा. Please बच्चे, yes.
So that middle class thing which you talked about.
आपका था? हाँ जी बच्चे.
So I have written it with the intention that I am from middle class background,
हाँ.
but instead of that, I have never faced deprivation, and I have always get sufficiency of what I want. So that has instilled in me a sense of sufficiency and independence. So is not that relevant?
My parents, had you written instead that my parents have inculcated a sense of independence or something like that, instead of saying middle class, would have been better. Yeah, and you have a full right to disagree with me, right? ठीक है? But it can be said better, बच्चे. Because we handle HNIs, ultra HNIs, some well-known families in India. Trust me, and coming from their thought process, an IIM is only meant for a middle-class person. Yes, a cricketer will always be. If you look at the backgrounds of cricketers, 90% are from a particular background. If you look at IIMs, they're from a particular background. So that's how it is. That's not adding value. Add something that my mother's given me so much of independence to take independent decisions. Now he will want to understand, are you an independent decision maker? Yes? Yes, yes, yes. So the moment you say that, because again everyone's sitting afraid here. You agree? सब डरे हुए हैं अपने अपने तरीके से. And कहीं पे भी चले जाओ, हर जना अपने अपने तरीके से डरा हुआ है. But the moment you exuberate that confidence, boss, he cannot ignore you. Yes? Always, one last thing, always see the interview from 3 perspectives. We are seeing the interview from our perspective, being a candidate. There's another person who's asking questions, another person who's observing. Yes? It's not only from our perspective, and as he said very rightly, talk what he wants to understand. Yes? Talk what he wants to understand. Is what I feel would have.
That could do better.
एक सिंपल सी चीज़ बता, मैं एक और करते हैं. इसके बाद एक टी ब्रेक है, हमारे 1-on-1 इंटरव्यू होगा. एक टी ब्रेक है, एक जना जाता है, आप जाते हो, एक you meet another girl, and please in this tea break I really want you to introduce each other to yourself. मतलब get introduced with yourself. It's not that you have to interview, हम ज्ञान देंगे, आप कमल का फूल बन जाएंगे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. आप आपस में करिए, आपस में कितना कॉन्फिडेंस आता है दूसरे जने को अप्रोच करने में. One more thing, I think on that, one more thing, बैठ जा बच्चे, ठीक है, इतनी इज्जत मत दो, right? So एक और चीज आती है, your evaluation, I'll go one step further, your evaluation starts the moment you reach the interview center. make friends, and in this tea break after this one-on-one session, make friends, not make friends but interact with each other meaningfully. अभी ऐसे लगेगा आई हियर सम कमोशन, बस मेरे को 1 मिनट दे दो, इससे ऊपर ज्ञान नहीं दूंगा, ठीक है. Introduce yourself to each other meaningfully, get that, you know, facade, make it go away. You'll understand where you lack and where you don't, and the moment you enter the, just one thing, this is what I wanted to say, I went back, but the moment you enter the interview center, your evaluation is already started. If there's a case study discussion or a group discussion, if you've already, you know, let's say in a very simple way, can you come further because there's a camera, can you just come? I enter the session, I meet him and I say, hi, I'm Deepak.
Yeah. So I'm Ritesh.
Ritesh, क्या करते हो? Which background are you from?
So I'm currently working at American Express.
Very nice, very nice. तो MBA क्यों कर रहे हो भाई? तो मैंने क्यों किया? Better. Not because of anything. Now when he meets me in the group discussion or anywhere, he thinks everyone is reaching. Okay, sorry. Everyone is reaching the interview center being afraid. आज तो कुछ नया दिन है, लाइफ का पहली बार ऐसा दिन आया है. आज तो या तो मेरी शादी होगी या परमानेंटली नहीं होगी, है ना? तो everyone is coming with that thought process. But जैसे ही मैं रितीश से मिला, मैंने पूछा अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस, मैंने अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस किया और एक चीज मिस कर गया. ऑल द बेस्ट रितेश. नाउ यू मेड अ फ्रेंड. हैव यू? This person in group discussion is always going to support you. In case study discussion is always going to support you. In interview, he is going to give you that confidence. All the best. क्योंकि तूने मेरे को बोला था ना, यही होता है. Yes. So please remember that. That's it from my side. Okay. I hope whatever now.
And then you try to contrast it with candidate type of interviewer. Usually we are scared, we are also very self-critical. We are but for what we think of what his responses will be, it would be very different. And I think that will make for a very good. Okay?
Please come. Hi, good morning. Morning, Divyam. Please have a seat. How are you feeling, Divyam? I'm very well, thanks for asking. Nervous? Excited?
Yes, sir, I'm quite excited. I have been preparing for this opportunity with a lot of dedication, and I feel happy that I got the opportunity to not only be selected for this interview round, as well as I have got the unique opportunity to converse with such highly acclaimed and reputed faculty members. And I hope to, if not, I obviously hope to get an admission and continue to learn with such faculty. Otherwise, I hope to gain something from this interview, and that is what makes it very exciting.
All right, Divyam. I see you have a very interesting profile, but I would love to know more about you. So tell me something about yourself.
Yeah. I come from Chandigarh. I have done my schooling from Bhavani Vidyalaya, Chandigarh, and currently I am pursuing a BCom Honours degree from Kirodimal College, University of Delhi. I am a very enthusiastic person by nature, and I love to try different things. I am an avid sports enthusiast, and I have had the opportunity to play at the national level in table tennis. I am a Guinness Book World Record holder in Taekwondo and a North Zone champion. I have also won multiple state level medals in both the sports. I developed an interest in finance early on, which was fueled by my parents' guidance and pursuing studies in the same field. I plan to start an investment and consultancy firm after gaining certain knowledge and experience post MBA. In order to get a real-time experience throughout my college, I have been a member of the Finance and Investment Cell and the Business Development Department Head at the Entrepreneurship Cell of my college. I have completed an internship at a company called the VC Stories, which is a venture capitalist firm, and I have done a live project with a company called Skill Arena in the realm of research. In addition to my roles, I believe I am very passionate about movies.
So how is a venture capitalist funding different from a private equity funding?
Private equity funding is when a company approaches an investor, say an angel investor, in order to raise funds against equity.
How is an angel investor different from a venture capitalist?
Yeah, angel investor is a person, usually an HNI, high net worth individual, who invests his own money out of the funds that he has, whereas a venture capitalist is a person working for a venture capitalist fund firm which has a fund that is collected from the contributors who want to invest in that fund, and out of the fund that is collected, they invest into various equity opportunities or other terms of investment.
What is net present value of a company?
Net present value. Net present value is calculated using the discounted cash flow methods based upon the inflows and outflows that they are projected in, say for any number of years, say for 5 years. They discount it with the cost of capital rate, and the net present value is the difference that is of the discounted inflows and outflows.
Net inflows, outflows, or net inflows?
Yeah.
Well, how is free cash flow of firm different from free cash flow from equity?
Free cash flow for firm is the funds available to both the debtors and the equity holders of a company, and when we minus the debt repayment in terms of principal as well as interest, that leads us to free cash flow for equity. That is the funds purely available for shareholders of the company. Give
me an example of a firm which recently became a unicorn even after having a negative net present value.
I cannot recall a name of the company.
Any not recently, off late? Negative cash flows. I mean, most of the companies come out with IPOs with negative cash flows, but they get a huge valuation. What's your take on it?
Sir, basically, when a company does have a negative cash flow, it does speak negatively in terms of its, you can say, risk potential, because it has already tied a lot of its money with debtors, and it does not have active cash flow to expand or in state of an emergency. However, it does not completely reflect it as a bad company or an unsafe bet. That's why many companies, even with negative cash flows, are able to raise not only funds but also do well and reach unicorn.
What are other ways of valuation? Other methods of valuation?
the methods of valuation that I am aware of are one is through DCF model, that is discounted cash flow, in which a company projects its, for example, for 5-10 years, projects its valuation of the cash flows that it will be earning, and based on that there is a valuation made. Another way is the comparison with industry. In that, the performance of the company is measured in comparison to other market leaders in that particular industry. The third is through liquidation process, whereby we try to ascertain the value of the funds that are left after liquidity of all the assets and the liabilities, and the and the amount left is used to value a company in terms of, say, capital fund or shareholder fund.
Okay. What's the difference between skewness and kurtosis?
Sorry?
What's the difference between skewness and kurtosis?
So I say I am not aware of these two.
When do you study statistics in BCom? Which year did you study?
I did not study statistics in my time at Kidwardingal College pursuing BCom honors.
Okay. Okay.
Divyam, you mentioned you are a world record holder.
Yes.
Was that associated with taekwondo or with table tennis? And tell us more about how you got there.
Yeah. So the world record that I hold is in taekwondo, whereby I was a member of the team that held the largest multi-locational presentation of taekwondo as a sport, where we had to perform a group of moves known as Pumsai. If you are aware with karate, that is a more popular term. In karate, there is something called kata. It is a synchronized form of presenting your art, that is of taekwondo. So that the term for that in taekwondo is Pumsai. So we had to learn 2 alternative Pumsais and perform them alternatively for the span of 20 minutes. And we had to perform it with utmost precision, which was taking place at multiple locations.
How many locations were these?
It was 41 locations with 979 participants.
So you were one of the 979
Yeah.
participants.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to know your take around the skills that you may have acquired through taekwondo and table tennis. How do they complement the skills that you might require to pursue and thereby get into a management role as a profession?
Yeah. So basically I feel that not only table tennis or taekwondo in particular, any person involved in sports has surely faced failure. That is one thing that no one wins all the time. However, people don't get the taste of failure early on, as they try to avoid getting into these kinds of situations. However, playing sports, especially taekwondo and table tennis at such high levels, I have been quite acquainted with failure, and I know how to deal with failure and how to bounce back. Another thing that I feel that has added to my abilities, which will help me in my MBA, is the discipline that I have, the lifestyle that I have gotten used to in terms of both discipline as well as dedication towards my goal. That is something I feel will aid me in my pursuit of MBA. Yeah.
Tell me something about your failure which you faced in life.
Yeah. So one particular thing that comes to mind is when I was in my 10th grade, I was actively playing table tennis for Chandigarh's national table tennis team. In such a situation, what happened was my term 2 examinations that are obviously it was 10th, so I had the added pressure of board examinations. So in the 10th class, the term 2 paper, that is the exam just before pre-board, they clashed with a very important tournament through which I would get selected to represent Chandigarh in the national level. So obviously I had the pressure of studies as well. However, I tried my best. I tried to accommodate both my responsibilities, but in pursuit of my academics, I wasn't able to perform up to the standards that I had set for myself in the tournament that I have mentioned, and I wasn't able to perform that well. And that year I missed out on the opportunity to represent Chandigarh in that particular national games.
So your failure was that you couldn't represent Chandigarh.
Yeah, I was very much passionate towards my goal, even though I feel that it may sound a bit arrogant, I might add, that I wasn't able to get a national level participation, and that I feel is a failure on my end. It's not that I missed out on the opportunity to participate in the national level. It was that my dedication towards my goal that I had set up for myself, especially going on from the quite successful season I had in class 9, and following up that, I had a good confidence that I will be able to follow up and do better. However, not able to get that opportunity to perform and prove to myself that I could have improved. That was the sensation of failure that stuck with me.
Okay, Vivian, you are such a decorated athlete. You've represented multiple sports. You're a Guinness World Record holder. Why not pursue a career in sports?
Sir, I have always seen sport. For me personally, I have always seen sports that has helped me in my personality as well as my fitness per se, fitness building. I haven't really looked at sports as a career option from the very beginning.
Why is that?
Yeah. So I feel that the opportunities in sports as of now, in India particularly, are not worth the quote-unquote risk potential that is involved in following a career in sports. Wow. I'm not against following sports as a passion. I am very much passionate about sports. I follow not only play sports, I follow multiple sports that I like regularly. So I feel that the career opportunities or the chance to follow sports as a career is quite limited, and the scope, particularly in sports like table tennis and taekwondo, are even more limited. So one of the things that I would like to add on to this conversation is that this has inspired me to ultimately start a benefit organization for the development of sports. That would be based on the model of NCAA, that is an organization working in the US. It is the National Collegiate Athletic Association. So I want to set up an organization on similar fields in order to make sports a more viable career option. If it is not, if maybe not for me, I would surely love to for someone else to see that dream that I had and follow it to the very end.
Is it fair to say that you are talking the talk but you're not walking the walk?
Sir, I have, as I have mentioned that my career in alignment to my career goals, I have done a lot throughout my college as well as throughout my schooling. Moreover, as I mentioned, my the passion goal that I have of starting this this organization, I have done my homework in the same field as well. I am well connected with many Indian decorated athletes who are not only can provide the quote-unquote fame value to this, to promote it at a higher level than I can possibly personally can. So I have done my homework and I have done the the financials, the work that will be required to do, and the process that I have to follow. So I have done my homework in all the goals that I have set up for myself.
What is risk-adjusted return?
Risk-adjusted return. So I am not aware of the exact definition, but
Under which section is an association set up?
I'm sorry, sir, I am not able to recall it.
But you wanted to set up an association?
Yeah, I want to basically
based on the terms of NCAA.
Yeah.
Yes. Under what section is it set up in the US?
Sir, NCAA is firstly it was set up as a private firm. It wasn't a public benefit firm. It was set up as a private firm under the Companies Act governing the US companies. And then it entered into a PPP model, public-private partnership with the US government. And now...
Does it claim tax exemptions?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
Finally, Divyam, tell me about a time when you were morally conflicted.
Okay, sir. So this is incident that has happened to me recently. I live in Delhi as of now. I am pursuing a degree from University of Delhi. So there, I own a two-wheeler and I was driving my two-wheeler towards my coaching center where I was preparing for CAT. So in one of the documents, that is the pollution certificate that we have to carry with our the vehicle, that I was under the impression that it is valid till the month of May, meaning the end of month of May. However, my pollution certificate had expired on at the end of April. So on the 4th of May, while I was going towards my coaching center, I was stopped by a traffic cop and there he informed me that my pollution certificate is expired and now I'll have to pay a fine of rupees 10,000. So firstly I got a bit nervous and I tried to ask him politely that I was under the impression that it was till the end of May, and the center which are at the petrol pumps where you can get a pollution certificate, I informed him that I'll just get, it was just on the next turn. I asked him that I'll just go and get a pollution certificate just now and I'll come back to you and I'll show you. However, instead of trying to help me in that extent, he asked me to give him a bribe.
Oh.
He asked me whatever you can, or
Okay.
whatever money you have, 200, 300, you give me a bribe.
For a 10,000 rupee fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
He asked me whatever. Obviously, I'm a student. He didn't expect me to having thousands of rupees. So he asked me whatever money you have, 200, 300, you give me as a bribe and I'll let you go. So instead of indulging in that act of bribery, I insisted that I'll just get you the pollution certificate, and seeing that I wasn't giving up to his demands and I have he took mercy on me, I am of not fining me that 10,000 rupees, and he gave me the opportunity to just get a pollution certificate, and I presented him the certificate in the next half an hour.
So what's the conflict here?
So the conflict here was that I was getting nervous and I wanted to get out of that situation as fast as I could, because that was something that I experienced for the first time, and I was conflicted to maybe give him the bribery that he was asking for, because it was a minimal amount, but my the motivation for me was to get out of the situation, because it was very nerve-wracking for me and I wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. However, I stuck with my beliefs and I didn't give in to my motivation to just exit the situation, and I stuck with it what I believed in, and he ultimately gave me the benefit of the doubt.
How many seats are there in Lok Sabha?
The Lok Sabha, according to my knowledge, 479.
What's the Gyanvapi mosque case?
Sorry sir, I am not aware of that case.
Okay.
Anything on what's happening in the Middle East right now?
So in the Middle East,
Or the West Asian region, as the West call it?
I am aware of the fact that
Right.
recently
Another 2 minutes, please.
Iran bombarded region in Pakistan, and Pakistan, retaliated and on international forums and asked them to asked them that if this such act is continued, they will also retaliate in terms.
But why did Iran bomb Pakistan?
Sir, it was done to eliminate certain terrorist organizations that Iran believed are hiding in Pakistan, specifically Balochistan. So it was done with those intentions. However, it is in the region that Pakistan claims as its territory.
And which international forums did Pakistan raise this hue and cry?
Sir, I am not aware of the exact forums, but I read that it has approached international bodies. So if I had to take a guess, it is the UN, as it is the governing body in such cases.
Okay. Anything you would like to ask us, Divyam?
Sir, during the session, I heard that you have done an aeronautics engineering from PEC. So I wanted to ask, how come you...
We'll take offline. We can take that offline. Hana? Okay.
Go on. Complete your
yeah.
question.
Okay. So how come you have come into such a distinct field of maybe teaching or MBA coaching, like biosphere,
Sure.
from such a distinct field after when I was very young, I wanted to go to space. That was one of my dream. And I am when you mentioned that you are an aerospace engineer, that really caught my attention. But it also popped this question that how come you have joined this MBA biosphere?
Thank you, Divyam. You can take your seat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here.
Very good. Let's clap for him. Everyone, please. Hanji, how was it? Sit. Okay. I think well prepared he was. Yes. Okay.
Divyam, how would you rate yourself
Yes.
out of 10?
Sir, overall interview, I would say I am somewhere between an 8 and an 8.5. But if I had to bifurcate, I feel communication I was
That's all right, all right.
That's all.
How many of us as part of the audience here believe that his performance was maybe 6 or below? Raise your hands. No one. 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. 8? Okay.
I would
9 or below? 9 or up? Most of you. Super.
You know what starts happening is हर जना अपने आप से कंपेयर करना शुरू कर देता है मेरे से बेटर था तो 1 point extra good nevertheless is very good
Great job with him.
Yeah.
Honestly. It takes a lot of guts
to come and sit here.
in front of such a large audience, and for you to express yourself so freely, I think is commendable. So well done. I give you a solid 9 on that.
I would say I would say he was well prepared, but I'll ask you, most of you, some of you are engineers, so you would not understand the reasons of my questions, but he had the interconnections missing. Okay, so he talked about, and I'll give you an example. There was a question which came on risk adjusted return. Okay, so you've been a part of VC, so obviously that also angle comes in that you should know about it. But then you suddenly talked about, I did not ask you about it. Give me 1 minute. I don't know why this person's calling me. Okay, sorry. So then he talks about a particular thing, and that is what he's also an engineer, so he would not realize it as well, and he would see that as a fact that मैंने कहीं से भी कोई भी question पूछ लिया वो ऐसा नहीं था. He says that the risk and the return in sports would not have been as per my expectation. And comes the question suddenly from his academic book, because he does not have a work experience. What is risk adjusted return? If he's talking about risk and return, this is something which they learn day in and day out in portfolio management. Yes, sharp ratio.
Sir, I wanted to ask you about this question.
I'll answer. But then what? So I said 3 people. 3 people. One were the people who were observing, one who was asking the question, and one who was facing the interview. Now the moment that happens is, I feel that, hang on, he was a very good panelist, okay, because he was making him speak on the questions which he wanted to speak.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. So I'm telling you why, because he says, you know, on the common questions, so morally, ethically, ethical dilemma, which I think everyone of you should have thought about, and in your mind, and you should have written it down as well. And that's where he was, you know, asking questions. I was like, क्यों भाई? ये तो इसने तैयार किया हुआ है, ठीक है? किया हुआ था ना? Yes, in a way, you've already, right? But the moment I went to interconnections, I think interconnections were missing. GK was missing. Yes. Gyanvapi mosque case was on the. Again, my question was not different from his question. Did you realize he asked about moral, but he played on the ground at which he was ready to play on. I wanted him to answer about the mosque case and and talk about the ethical dilemma from there. Make sense? But the GK was missing. But yes, the most asked questions, well prepared. He also talked about that I will finally want my own investment and something set up. Okay? If someone wants to set up something, वो किस सेक्शन के अंडर सेटअप होगी, क्या उसका कॉमर्स स्टूडेंट्स विल अंडरस्टैंड, क्या उसका होल्डिंग स्ट्रक्चर होगा, क्या होता क्या है, मैं ये नहीं बोला क्या होगा, होता क्या है, हमें पता होना चाहिए था. तो वापस मैं गया, उससे मैंने कनेक्ट किया और वो गलत था. क्यों वो गलत था? बिकॉज इसने बोला तो सही मैं करना चाहता हूँ, बट उसका बैकग्राउंड क्या था, मैंने पढ़ा भी, मैंने NCAA के अकॉर्डिंग करना है, पर मैंने अगर NCAA के अकॉर्डिंग करना है तो मैंने 9 चीज़ों के अकॉर्डिंग क्यों नहीं करना है, मुझे ये पता होना चाहिए. समझ आई बात? Yes, that if I have to follow a particular direction, or he should have said something like that, which I'll think at that time. But he said, no, I'll set it up like NCAA. But then why would you not do it on the 9 other paths available with you? So again comes, so I'll differ from the group. He was good, no doubt, but he was only well prepared. Kudos to him, takes guts, but 7 out of 10 for me.
Sure.
Right? Okay.
Happy to disagree. So the bad.
Disagree with everyone, most of you, yeah. And I'll improve you, but take this as a positive feedback. Yes. Another thing BCom students also face is most of the faculties who are sitting on the other side are teaching your subjects which you've studied. अभी मैं CFA चार्टर पे नहीं आया because he's again mentioned in his resume that CFA चार्टर का बहुत specific लिखा हुआ है कि मैंने CFA चार्टर करना है, either MBA और CFA चार्टर. अगर मेरे को CFA चार्टर करना है तो मुझे, मैं जो ये क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहा हूँ, I'm a CFA myself, अगर मैं ये क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहा हूँ मुझे इनके आंसर्स चाहिए, आपने बहुत स्पेसिफिक किया हुआ है, which is good. Just prepare a little more, I think that. But 7 out of 10 for me is also good, but I differ with the, right, over to you,
So,
anything.
For me personally, Divyam, you started well, and one could see that you were very well prepared, almost too well prepared, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Your introduction, I think, was extremely long. Like, it had way too much things. And while the vibe, the feeling, the emotion around the interview stayed mostly neutral. It's, I think, a little more difficult to have two panelists instead of one, where one will grill you and the other one will be slightly more cordial. But overall, I would have wanted you to keep your answers shorter. Because the more you say, the more avenues you end up opening up. It's like you are getting yourself into that line of fire, right? If you keep your answers short, and then you will invite me to probe you more. So again, breadcrumbs. I will feel that I am the one who's asking the questions, I am the one who's calling the shots. But if you keep your answers short, you will actually know that you are the one who's inviting me to ask you those questions. Does that make sense? I will agree with Deepak's evaluation that the interconnections were missing. I would have wanted you to take little pause before you start answering, so that it seems as if you are thinking on it on your feet at the spot. Because the moment I ask you a question and you give me an answer, it seems like ये तो रट्टा लगा हुआ है. It's you know, it's crammed कि तोते से बात हो रही है. So the happiness of the interview goes away. If I ask you that I had asked you about the world record, I had asked you about your interest and your career in sports, bang bang bang, I don't want bang bang, I want you to pause. So say if you had thought about taking certain pauses and giving yourself more breathing room, it would have helped us absorb also better. Not what you are speaking, but what we are hearing, what we are absorbing is more important. So you get that?
Yes.
And the smile just went away after you sat down. I think your posture right now is still better than you were here. I think you were slouching a little. You weren't upright as much as I would have liked you to be. I think you were seated comfortably, which is great, but it just seemed as if there was some lack of interest, some lack of attention. मेरे को ऐसा लगा, सच है नहीं है उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, but अगर मेरे को लगा, it's something that you can improve on. But the reason why I'll give you a very solid 9 is because you performed very well, and it's just 1/5 or 1/10 of how well you were prepared. So absolutely great job on facing this interview, and facing multiple panelists I think is a challenge, and you've done exceedingly well. So congratulations. Anything else anybody wants to share, ask, tell? We are here.
I would just want to add something on the language part. When he asked you what's the moral dilemma that you faced, again I'm giving that specific example because that's how you will work on it. Is that you were reciting it the way the situation happened. Take a 5-second gap. We want to understand the gist of it, that, or the panelists would want to understand the gist of it, that what was the dilemma, how did you address it, what's your takeaway?
Yeah.
The three things. That's it.
Like, had you mentioned that I was conflicted whether I should bribe a cop or not, then I would be like, oh, what happened? How did you arrive at bribing a cop? So you are inviting me into your conversation. Get it? Anything else? Anyone?
Anyone wants to add anything? Please. Yes. And ask us questions on how could a particular thing have been dealt with if you were listening to it. Right? still if someone wants to question me that 7 out of 10, why 7 out of 10, please question so that you guys can improve. He was very good, okay, nothing taking away because he was facing all the people, right? Okay, yeah.
He started with the assumption that you are a faculty.
Yes.
So is that assumption always true? Because
No.
because that could backfire or it would
No.
still be fine.
You have to be neutral. Even when you come to meet us or meet anyone or interact with each other, you have to be neutral, not assume anything for that matter.
And did you feel like he was too humble at the beginning when he said that either I'll get in or I have the chance to interact with you? Like, should we go for a more aggressive goal-driven strategy?
Not an aggressive, but
More confident?
no, he was confident.
No,
I would.
I'm just saying that one term where he said that, what did he say, that I'll either have the chance to interact with you or I'll get this a peaceful, something along that line.
Basically, that the best I can get is
Yesterday's Bhuoni's interview is lined up at 12 o'clock. May I leave?
interact with such high quality people, and that is.
So he was confident enough, I would take it from here, that he was confident enough to come and face us, and he knew that this is not the final thing, but this is a preparation for the whole thing. Yes, so he had it in himself. But whenever you face any mock interview, request will be that please take it as a final thing. Multiple, जैसे होता है ना, एक जना बैठ के mock cats दे रहा था, and then suddenly goes differently in the CAT examination, the pressure becomes different. While a person thinks always now that all these are like CAT only, okay, and then the final paper, you assume that you put that yourself under that pressure. So finally, when you land up there, it's not very different. It will still be different, but it's not very different. So I would prefer all of you to face the interview panel, keeping in mind this is actual interview. Actual. Then after 5, 6, automatically, right? 7 will be the rest. Yeah.
Yes. Wait later. Yeah.
So to answer the questions like, moral dilemmas or ethical situations, what is the best way to answer them? Like, on what basis? Like he said, bribery, but maybe it could be like, it's a criminal thing if you bribe somebody.
That's all right. So, I would want to assume that the panelist will not be overly judgmental, especially for questions like this. My strategy would be, and it's a personal opinion, take it with a pinch of salt. I would firstly want you to think, because you should not ideally be prepared for answering such, curvy questions.
I was thinking and I could not like.
And that's the whole reason, because
Have you not faced any moral dilemma?
you would have,
I have, but I don't know what to say in the interview.
which is all right.
So now-
Because we face moral dilemmas every now and then.
Yes.
They're not the one we keep in our interviews.
It's all right. That's all right.
Like the better version. There are small things, but if somebody is judging you, because they're there to judge us. If they're judging us, तो कुछ ऐसा देना चाहिए जिसमें मतलब we are not that wrong also. The fact is that their doubt is clear.
What's your name?
Rumani.
Rumani, the idea is not to judge you on the conflict. The idea for me, if I ask this question, is if you can think on your feet. Do you get it? We are not judging whether you took the right call or the wrong call. आपने morally सही किया या morally गलत किया. But I want to see whether, one, can you think on your feet, and two, how do you present the situation to me in the first place? So I'm judging a very different skill set, which is why as an interviewee and as an interviewer, we are in two different realities altogether. You get it? So again, सोचो, समझो, and try to judge कि मुझसे question क्यों पूछा जा रहा है. If you stay in that mindset of the interviewee, then I think you will always get puzzled कि मैं ये बोलूँ या ये बोलूँ, ये बोलूँ या ये बोलूँ. But if you can get into the interviewer's mindset, then I think you will be much better prepared to approach this question.
Can I put it in an example? What's your age? Now a 21-year-old goes to a 15-year-old and asks a particular question. Okay? Knowing that every 15-year-old has the same pot of problems. Yes? And now suddenly the 15-year-old says, boss ये मेरे को judge करेगा, मैं इसको बताऊंगी नहीं कि ऐसा कुछ था, है ना? So फिर वो क्या judge करेगा बच्चे? वो ये judge करेगा that this 15-year-old does not know about himself or herself. Yes? Now come to the real situation. A 45, 50-year-old asking you knows what is going on with you. Okay? You cannot come out of it. Knows, as he says, law किया मैंने फिर ये किया. Knows कि लोग different चीजें choose करते हैं.
सब करते हैं.
Right? नोज की एक आध साल का ब्रेक आ सकता है, इंसान बुरा नहीं हो जाता उससे. Knows all that. Now is asking you and now wants you to speak about it. Also, whenever a moral dilemma question is asked, please remember you have crossed the first stage of the interview. Can anyone please beg to differ here, but I'll put a reason to it. Means he is confident about your academic background, he is confident about your general knowledge. The last step is moral ethical dilemmas. He is now on the final stage of saying yes to the whole thing. So if the moral question or ethical questions comes in your interview, you should be the happiest. Because he evaluated you on all your hobbies, everything. Yeah, he is confident that this person knows something. Right? Now let me put him in a very difficult situation because now there is an ethical and moral dilemma. Now if the person, like a 21-year-old person, can actually show the maturity of a 30-year-old person. Bang on. Best interview, crack.
Done.
Right? That's
Final question.
So when you asked a moral question, feel happy inside, you're through. Okay? Yeah.
So the particular incident of risk-adjusted return, what happened was I was answering, but I felt maybe you felt that I am saying that I don't know the answer. I said that I am not aware of this exact definition, and just as I was about to answer, so I want to ask what to do in such a situation. Should I have maybe not let it go and asked you politely that?
No, what needs to happen is if you're talking about risk-adjusted return, you need to know about risk-adjusted return. Even if you talk in sports, you talk in your hobbies, anywhere, if you've if you're saying about risk-adjusted, I'll not go and ask an American Express guy that. Yes, working with American Express, right? I'll not go and ask him because he's not talked about it. But if you're talking about it, so whenever you're writing down your answers, remember these key terms, circle these key terms, and now read about them. Yes?
Okay.
So one last question. So we are not supposed.
Sorry, I was.
So we are not supposed to give opinions on religion, etc. in an interview, but can we give opinion in the moral conflicts, in moral dilemmas? For example, the Ram Mandir.
Like speak openly. Like what kind of opinion do you want to give?
So for example, I am confused with my father on this topic.
Don't worry, we have conflicts on everything. Don't we? Yes.
Yes, like he's of a firm opinion that whatever has been done in the past and whatever is being it's okay. But I think that the similar eye for eye clash will go again and again now. Ram Mandir, then Gyan Vapi, then some other will come. So this will never be satisfied. So
the way you can answer it is, so we actually, as responsible citizens of this country, we actually need to understand how to tackle with similar issues coming further up because of resolution of one of this issue.
What precedent it might set.
Yes, what precedent it might set. So it's just about phrasing it properly. It is actually a concern. I'm also thinking that. Everyone's thinking that, yes, inside. कि ये हो गया, ठीक हुआ, गलत हुआ is separate. पर इसके बाद क्या होगा? Right? So just phrase it properly, I think it's okay. But don't, not like though he also knows that father के साथ है differences of opinion, mother के साथ भी है, ठीक है, mother support करती है, ठीक है, वो सबकी family same है. But you don't speak that father के साथ difference of opinion, but what needs to be seen in future is.
So is it a better answer for moral conflict? Is it a topic to be discussed on moral conflict?
You can if he's asking you, why not? But if he's going to that, see, understand. I asked him a GK, I was checking his general knowledge. He was not that good in general knowledge, he could not answer certain questions. But I was checking his general knowledge. I wanted, instead of asking him directly the moral dilemma, I would have asked him through that thing. You know, had he spoken about it the way I wanted. But he refrained from it. Okay? Yeah. Any other question? Yeah. Please.
Suppose I'm not from interview and he got a call from ABP as well. So in I'm not from interview, being said that why should we bother if you will go there? So then if it's wrong getting a particular institute, how can we answer this question?
Bache, first of all, now there are 3 people in the interview. right? Observant, question asking. So if you have a call from ABC, he also wants you. Yes? First thing, yes or no? Okay, so if you have a, just another 2 minutes. Yeah. So he also wants you because yaar, ABC se call aayi hai. Okay, I will also want to teach such a good child. है ना? So he also wants you, but he also knows it that you will go. So to my understanding, you should be very clear. Sir, I will prefer those colleges, but have your reasons of preferring those colleges. That if, whatever the reasons are, I'll not, you can discuss it with me later, maybe. But you will go because there is, I think, only a fool will leave an ABC to come to L. Yes? There's no justification that I'll come to L. Nahi, aap hi achhe ho. Why not? For if I don't get through ABC, sir. I want to be secure. I am, so first thing is that I'm sure that I have to start my MBA this year. Do you have a, do you have a WorkX? Fresher. So you'll be finishing your examinations now, 24. Very good. So perfectly fits into it. So one thing very sure that I have to get to a B school this year. Even if for that matter, even if it's not ABC or L, if it's any other college, we have to do my MBA this year. My first preference will remain ABC, but if it's not ABC, I'm coming to L. Clear? No, show your clarity of thought. No beating around the bush. कि प्यार तुम्ही से ही है, सुंदर कोई और है, नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है? Okay. Anyways, anything else? Do I answer your question, Mok? Anything comes to your mind?
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Lovely interacting with you. Yes. Lovely interacting with you. All the best. For if we don't meet anyone, some of you, we'll meet some of you in the interview panel as a panelist. All the best to all of you. And remember what I said to be done in it.